Eddie.
Hey, how are
I
you?
said that in my best singing voice, but I was on mute, so nobody's gonna hear it. What's up, brother?
Much, brother. Oh,
What are
you
we
know, just
talking
living
about
the
today?
dream.
Oh, actually, wait. What were you gonna say?
I thought I'm just living the dream. Hanging out at the
Looks
beach.
like it. I would almost believe that if you had some hair on your head and it was smooth, like you had a fan blowing it.
Man, I gotta turn this background off, man. I can't deal with this stuff.
Well, you're not actually bald, or are you? You had a full head of hair when you were in the service.
Yeah, but then,
You
well,
had
no,
the
I
general-
mean, yeah, it all started to go away.
They call that MPB.
What's that?
Oh, this isn't the acronym, but sorry. Male pattern baldness.
Yeah, yeah.
Balding.
Oh, definitely.
Balding. Do you think we're talking to an audience at this point?
Man, I
Or are
hope
we
so.
just-
I hope somebody's watching this.
Yeah, I mean,
So, speaking of audience, we just jump right in. Well, hey,
Yeah.
again, everybody. It's Aloha Eddie and this guy over here.
Koastline.
That's my man. My man. All right. So here we are. Today what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk a little bit about some of our hobbies that we partake in to help with, to help offset life, right? Because after service it's go, 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 go. Sometimes you need a little something to keep your mind busy, keep your hands busy, and things like that. So I'm gonna let old Koastline kick it off with one of his hobbies.
Yeah, man. So I'm not going to get too deep into it because we're saving it for another episode. But in 2017, it was end of 2017, it was about 3 years before I retired, I was diagnosed with PTSD. I mean, a career of search and rescue, law enforcement, it caught up to me, right? So I had a buddy of mine fly in. This is, probably a year and a half after that initial diagnosis, from Alaska. He was also in the Coast Guard, and he brought some leather stuff with him. And I was like, bro, I didn't know you do this. And he's like, yeah. I was like, can you make me a leather cover for? I had another guy at my unit at the time that makes custom knives. He'll get leaf springs from junkyards, and then he, like, whatever that
Forged in fire, bro.
Forged in fire, yeah. He does that. And he's made me like a neck knife, a little holster, hangs in the neck. It's a little utility knife for like a backpacking, hiking. He made me a little hatchet. I was like, dude, I need like a case for it so I don't cut my finger off. It's just sharp.
Yeah,
He's like, yeah, man. So he busted it out, and he's like, but I'm gonna make it for you, but I'm gonna teach you how to do it. Oh. I had like this leather kit that my wife bought me like 10 years ago. It was like a little leather kit. It's got like everything's already pre-cut. You just gotta stitch it together, color it maybe if you want, maybe do some stamping or whatever. But when my buddy, started showing me this stuff, I was like, man, this is awesome. And what I realized was when I was doing leather work, I was so hyper focused what I was doing. It exercised my mind, right? So I started out small. I started doing like coasters, and that's where I just kind of learned like how do you carve in leather, and how do you stamp in leather, and how does the leather react? How do you prepare it better to take all that stuff? And then I started looking online. I just look up leather products, and me being the practical dude that I am, I guess, I wanted functional things that I'm going to use every day. So I started out with koozies. I've got nerve damage in my hands from being out in frozen lakes a lot in the wintertime. So if I hold like a can and it's cold, it really hurts. So here's a little leather koozie that I made with some baseball stitching. And then I got a hand-carved eagle on the front of it. America.
Well, I thought it was for like the Philadelphia Eagles.
It could look like that. It could double as that. This was actually for the Avon Eagles, which is the high school, that my stepbrothers go to, or my half-brothers. And then my former boss, one of my former bosses, her daughter goes there, and she wanted some. So this is actually a reject, but I actually fixed it. It turned out all right, but I made her too. And then I was like, you know what? I've got this giant wallet. It hurts my back sitting on it, hurts my butt. So I made a little card holder, and this like a rubber band on it, so you can put cash in there. But You know, put a little sailor flare on there.
There you go.
So all this is, you know, I just go online and look at these things and be like, bet I can make that. They make templates for everything, but I try not to do a template. I try to be like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out, and then do it on myself. So here's a slightly bigger wallet. So this is an origami wallet. There's no stitching. It's just folded and snapped. So you've got this pocket right here where like IDs can go, and then you got another pocket right here for like change, cards, and then you got another pocket here where you've got another card slot, and little notebook covers, field note covers, just, you know, fun stuff.
Right on, man. I got something very similar that I do too, man. Mine's just in the garage in my wood shop. In the wood shop, bro. I do custom woodworking, stuff like that. I got a CNC machine. But honestly, man, the thing that like helps me just like get into that different space is put the earmuffs on and just sanding, man. The vibration of the sander in my hand and like moving it and just, you know, taking my time to do that. But I also do like I said, I got a CNC machine, so I did a bunch of this stuff up behind me, a bunch of similar stuff to that. But one of my favorites is this little guy right here. Just a little guy, you know, CNC designed a little custom old Navy Chief anchor. Run that through the machine. This was actually a test one. It was on plywood. I just did it with a piece of plywood, but it gets that different. Yeah, this is just plywood, bro.
Oh man, that looks good though.
So it's got the different layers and stuff. I was like, it was just the test piece. So I was like, man, that looks pretty cool, and it looks aged and, you know, tarnished and stuff like that. So I was like, I'll just put a clear coat on it. So I made a bunch for my buddy of mine just last year when the Chief results came out. He had a bunch of people that made it, so he asked for a bunch of them. So I made a bunch of those last summer. Done a whole bunch of different coin racks, hat boxes, right? You know, as a Chief, we get the big hat box. You know, I made one for a Coast Guard guy when he retired too, for his big hat. Vessels, yeah. Oh yeah, for those guys, for charge books. I've done a bunch of those, bunch of different CNC machine work with those, but like just building stuff, man. A lot of shadow boxes. My first shadow box that I made was right around the same time, so it was in 2017. One of the girls I was working with, she was retiring, and she was like, man, she asked me if I could do it. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I'll figure something out. What do you want? I was like, and I always ask people the same thing. Like, hey, is this going to be on the floor, on a shelf, or on a wall? First question I always ask, what do you want? Right? Because then we take it from there. Like, is it going to sit on a shelf? Okay, can it be like boxy type thing? Is it going to be hanging on a wall? All right, so we want to keep it thin. Or is it going to be on the floor? Then we could do like a sea chest or a table or something like that. So the first thing I did was she wanted a coffee table. So instead of building the whole thing from scratch, I went to Habitat for Humanity and I looked at all the coffee tables and I found one that was awesome. Square coffee table. And the glass was all still good. Everything in it was good. All I really needed to do was clean it up because, you know, it was Habitat for Humanity. It was donated, right? So I paid $20 or $25 for this coffee table, sanded it down to nothing, took it all apart, sanded it down to nothing, refinished it, and then put a bottom in it. And then a hinge on the top. So I unscrewed the top, I disconnected the top from it, and I hinged it so that way then she could pick it up. And then when I did that, like I glued all of the glass in place so she didn't lift it up and it went flying, right? But yeah, man, completely sanded it and stripped it down to nothing. I refinished it and did everything like that. Put the bottom in, put some felt in it, put all her stuff in there, you know, the flag and all her rank stuff and her ribbons and medals and all that other stuff that she wanted in there. But also left it open to where she could put things in there loosely, you know, whether it was patches, coins, other little pieces of memorabilia that she had throughout her time in service. So it was pretty cool. Then my second one was even better. So one of my Command Master Chiefs, he was retiring. He was a submariner. Right? We've already had this conversation once.
We have. That's a weird one.
But he wanted a coffee table too, and I built it all from scratch. And it was all out of African mahogany, except for one piece of wood. Oh, dude, it was pretty, man. After that, I was hooked after that. African mahogany is like my jam. Yeah. No, I don't. That is one of the things that I'm going to get soon because I want to turn. Because I mean, obviously, I could have turned the legs and stuff like that. But everything, I got these different joiners for the router where everything it all interlocks, so it's not just like 45s put together. Yeah. But I made this huge coffee table. But anyway, so he was a submarine guy. So did you know that there's wood on submarines? Yeah, there's one piece of wood. There's like one place where you can find wood on a submarine. It's not really everywhere because it's fire hazard, right? You don't want to have things that are, but they have, for the batteries, they have to put it on wax impregnated wood. So the batteries sit on it, right? And it's all wax impregnated, so that way it's very fire retardant.
Yeah.
But anyways, I scored a piece of wood from a submarine, and I had some stuff engraved, CNC engraved into it. His Command Master Chief badge, his Cobb badge, his rank, and his dolphins and stuff like that, because he's a submarine guy. So I had all that, and I inlaid it into like the front of the table, and him and his wife almost lost it when I showed them. It was super cool, man.
You know, I wonder, like, if I got to imagine that there's vets out there that take these hobbies and monetize them and turn it into their career. I mean, there you go. But like, I was thinking, what got me thinking about was like, look at Michael Clemmer, Ariel Resupply Coffee. He just, I'm gonna shout him out because I mean it's good coffee. But I wonder if that was like started as a hobby. He's like, I like coffee. And
are you thinking of him because of the Coast Guard joke he posted?
I am thinking of him because he just showed some love to the Coast Guard. He had the puddle, the Coast Guard Special Forces, the guy in scuba gear in a puddle on the street. Yeah, I mean that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Was that you? I even commented on it. I was like, is that my man Koastline Kevin?
Yeah. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We're just
yeah. I was looking for a picture of me. We did some. I was an ice rescue instructor for a long time. So we, towards the later half of my career, we started actually getting smart and doing a lot of the training in a pool where it's not freezing ass cold water, dolphin. And I had a picture of me like in all my Coast Guard gear in a pool. It was like a hotel pool. We had a hotel that was like right down the street from us. Like,
that's funny. All right. Anyways, back on track. Squirrel, shiny object.
Yeah.
But no, I like, especially when it comes to like the woodworking stuff, man. One, it started off as a hobby, and I was just doing it for like cost. Like I wasn't doing it to try and make any money, but I have done it a little bit to where I help offset some of the costs of the supplies and the things that I've used. But I know other people that have turned it into like full on businesses, bro. And some of these shadow boxes and things like that some people are making are so creative and so like intricate. Like it's wild to see what some people are doing with some of this stuff. And I know a lot of them, they started off as a hobby and, to kind of help ease things. And it just kind of goes from there.
So coaching my kids' sports is a big one, and I think that one's really special to me because I mean my kids are younger. I had them slightly older, I guess, than, especially by military standards. I think a lot of people in the military have kids pretty young. I was nearing the end of my career. I mean my daughter now is 9 and my son is 6, and I retired 3 years ago. Do the math. We've already established I'm not good on the fly anymore.
Yeah, you're not good at math at all.
But anyway, like getting to do that stuff, that was stuff that I could not do while I was in the Coast Guard. I mean, every branch is different, right? We've all got different missions. Our work looks different. But, where I didn't, some coasties, they're on ships and they go out 3 to 6 months. I did that. Been there, done that early on in my career before I settled down, got married, had kids. But then even in the small boat community where I primarily spent the majority of my career, it was in the summer months, man, sometimes I was working 7 days a week. And I'm working like Monday through Friday, I'm working the daytime, and then on Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, I'm working like overnight for big events or, just to supplement crew if someone's injured or sick. And so I didn't get that kind of time with my kids. I saw them like from Monday to Friday, a total of maybe 6 hours because I'd leave so early in the morning. And then I'd come home later at night and I had a 45-minute commute and it was just gross. So that's a big one, right? I mean, that it really means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to my kids. And I guess you could call that a hobby. And then another one that probably isn't going to shock you is, hunting for Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you notice, we got Bigfoot in the woods right there below my shadow box. Got Bigfoot up on my cool metal Coast Guard flag thing. I'm pretty sure I've got about 5 more Bigfoots in this picture somewhere.
That could be a thing one time. Like, how many Bigfoots do you see in this image?
Yes, that's a Bigfoot inside my koozie.
Nice.
Brand. But
Love it.
so here's another thought, right? So we talked about like people monetizing their hobby, and I want to hear about your hobby, like other hobbies you have too. But
Thanks.
I mean, Michael Clemmer, he did aerial resupply coffee. Maybe that started as a hobby, turned it into a business. I'm pretty sure he's retired. I don't know. Maybe he may not be retired. But for retirees, I think we have a really special opportunity where, because we have that financial base from a pension, probably some VA disability, you have a bit more freedom to go into a career field where you might not be making the same amount of money you were making on paper when you were in the service. You're still living that better life because you've got that supplemental coming from the pension and the disability. And I think that, in all honesty, I mean, our job is kind of like a hobby to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do depend on the income, but it's awesome that I have the opportunity to work for a small company that has a focus on veteran placement, transitioning vets. You know, it's not a huge major corporation that has endless, you know, sums of money. So, but it has meaning, it has true meaning behind the work. And I do think that that's kind of like a hobby, right? Because it brings satisfaction. You know, when Fusion Cell gets a win, even if it's not one of my roles that I worked on, but I hear one of our other teammates has placed a veteran somewhere, it's an exciting feeling, man, because we know firsthand how tough, and every other vet that's transitioned, how tough it is to get a freaking job once you get out of the military.
Yeah, no, definitely. And even with that, you know, I was not too long ago, I was with I went back to Port Hueneme and got to meet up with some people that I haven't seen over a decade, and meet some people that like I could have and should have met throughout my career, but you know, just whatever, it is whatever. And one of the guys who actually helps us out a lot with Fusion Cell, Aaron Neufeld, man, he was like, we were just talking, he was like, man, I wish there was something like Fusion Cell when I got out. He's like, and you know, I kind of felt very similar. Him and I kind of connected on some of this stuff. Like when we got out, we're like, oh yeah, man, retired. He's like, I'm a retired master chief. Like, I'm gonna find a job, no problem, right? I'm like, oh, I'm a retired chief. I got all these recruiting. How hard is it gonna be? Like, as a recruiter, I can find a job, right? But it's not all that easy. And you know, the message that we were sending to people that are still in uniform, and especially some of the senior leaders, we were like, hey man, this is an opportunity to be able to get yourself and or your sailors or your troops in front of people that are going to be there to help them when that time does come to transition out. And man, my email has just been flooded ever since, man. We were there, like I'm getting messages, like, because we sent flyers all over, like throughout the whole community there in Port Hueneme and stuff like that. And you know, but I'm getting all these people that are like, hey man, hey Eddie, I'm getting out in like a year. Hey, what should I be doing now? Like, hey, I'm ready. Like, I'm getting out in 3 to 6 months. Like, what's the next step? You know, and having those conversations. So, you know, giving back to that is, like you said, man, it is truly a hobby, being able to help people like that. But on a different note, some of the other hobbies and things, you know, one of the main reasons I moved to Hawaii, man, we love the ocean. Me and my kids, my wife, we all love the ocean. So we go to the beach a lot, man. It's truly relaxing. One of my favorite things to do when we go to the beach, honestly, is just go on the ocean and just float. Like, just lay on my back, put my head in the water, and hear the ocean, and it's just something different, you know. We picked up some paddle boards and kayaks and stuff like that. We'll do that, you know, things like that.
Yeah,
hiking.
Yeah,
it is, man. Definitely is.
Yeah, I got a kayak, and my wife got me a kayak right around the time I was retiring. I was like, yeah, I'm driving these cool ass boats in the coast. I'm like, what am I doing with a kayak? And then it sat in my garage for like a year and a half, and I was like, one day I was retired now, and the one I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go kayak. And I went, and I was like, oh my god, I haven't been on a boat in like a year. And all of a sudden, it was like this really cool boat because I just hadn't been boating, and it satisfies the itch, man. It's like it's similar to hiking, right? Like when you said, you get out in the woods, you get out in nature, and it's just calming. You listen to nothing but the sounds, and Yeah, something about.
Well, the views I have when I go hiking in Hawaii are pretty epic. So, you know, there's that.
Rub it in. Yeah, rub it in. Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Yeah.
Airport's just down the road from your house, man. So
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Hey, but you know what? Something that's interesting though is, you know, we talked about wishing that something like Fusion Cell was around when we retired. Well, Fusion Cell was around when you and I retired.
yeah, it was really new.
It was really new, right? Yeah, it was kind of a weird time because I know that they started. We're 5 years old. We turned 5 in January.
No.
And I know that 2019 was when like all the brains of this organization came together and started putting the plan in place and getting the wheels in motion. And then like 2020 hit, which just like turned everything upside down. So they were like, well, shit, nobody's hiring. What are we gonna do? And they hired a bunch of epidemiologists. Oh, I can't believe I said that right. And they consulted with companies. I'm like, hey, this you have to have your employees come in. This is how you keep them safe. And then like when they were reopening, doing that, and damn, I'm glad they did that because it kept their doors open. So eventually, me and you could come join the awesome team. Well, while Fusion Cell didn't help directly with me finding a job, indirectly, old Monty Montgomery was putting out videos, and I stumbled upon some of them, and I was like, I like what this guy's saying, follow. And I'd get on, you know, I was on LinkedIn every day trying to look for a job and just network, and every time he put out a video, I was glued to it, and I was like, oh, man, this is awesome. And I think that that's kind of one of the goals of this podcast, right? Is to just, I guess, put that word out there, like, yeah, transition sucks, but embrace the suck. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a huge population of people out there that want to help you, and there's pretty badass organizations like Fusion Cell that if you're in construction, engineering, manufacturing, government contracting, Aloha,
drop us a line, man.
Kev. Come on.
Yeah, man. Awesome, man. But yeah, and you know, keeping the mind busy, right? Keeping the demons at bay, per se, right? Is one of the things that I always kind of reference every once in a while when talking about this stuff too, man. Find those things, man, the things that you enjoy. Do those things. Keep yourself busy. Keep yourself occupied. Keep your mind and your hands off of idle, right? Keep them going to help make it through some of those difficult times and things like that. And just for fun too, you know. So find those things that make you happy, that you enjoy, and get out there and explore the world, man.
Yeah, and I just thought of this.
Of course you did.
VA, the VA has a whole health program. I just learned about it a couple of months
ago.
Yeah,
the Wounded Warrior Project. Warrior Project. They have all kinds of stuff, different activities. Actually, I got to look this up now because this is
healingwaters.org. They give you the supplies and teach you how to build a fly fishing pole and then your own lures. And they teach you how to fly fish. I mean, come on, how relaxing does that sound?
I gotta find this thing. I'm looking for it right now, man, because a buddy of mine just started this, man.
Yeah, I mean, the VA, I haven't had my official intake where they give me the rundown of all the programs, but
yeah,
I know they have like art therapy programs, music therapy programs. They've got equestrian therapy. I mean, they got all kinds of meetups where you can go hiking with other veterans and talk shit.
Warriors to Wilderness. A buddy of mine just started this nonprofit because he's big into hunting. He's actually from that state.
Oh,
that you
Ohio. Oh yeah. I see what's happening. It's like, damn,
anyways,
Eddie, are you gonna puke on camera? I was like, damn, bro.
No, so he's from, I think the Zanesville area.
Yeah.
Remember that city that was the capital for a little bit that you didn't know about? But anyways, I did. I'm not from there. Anyways,
fact check that.
Look it up, bro. Ask Jeeves, bro. But no, anyways, my boy Jason Maxwell he's the CEO and founder of this nonprofit called Warriors to Wilderness, and what they're doing is it's for, you know, our veterans and stuff like that want to get out in the wood, introduce them and get them back into the wilderness. Him and his boys and his family and things like that do a lot of hunting. So they're bringing people out on these hunts. Pretty awesome stuff, man. And me and Jason go way back too. So he'll appreciate this little plug. Hopefully it helps him out a little bit. Funny thing was he did this, it was like a giveaway or something. It was a promotional thing, and his network's pretty big, and like what he's doing is so awesome. So many people shared it on Facebook that everybody's got shut down because they thought it was some kind of spam or like some craziness, right? The crazy algorithm shut everything down, bro. Yeah. Oh, and we all, everybody that shared it got this message, and it was taken off of their wall. It was taken off of his wall. It was taken off of his nonprofit page and all that stuff. It was crazy, man. Yeah. But he got it all figured out and worked out. But yeah, man. So there's a lot of different foundations and organizations of things like that. Another buddy of mine, Pat Travick, has a thing that he does, like video racing. He's a big NASCAR dude. Man, now I gotta look his stuff up too. What is his stuff called? I'll throw in a plug for him too. Oh, Goat Locker Racing. It's all, and he's got like these, he's done a lot of stuff with his nonprofit, and he's got these trailers that he's going to be bringing around like the United States. He's going to have like truck drivers like drive them around and stuff, and go to events and stuff like that where people can go in and like drive these virtual race cars. And they do these like full NASCAR series, bro. He does like the trucks, the cars, the indies, like all of it, bro. It's crazy, man. And that's all, you know, very similar in, you know, veterans and first responders. That's his main, that's his target, and it's helping them. So, and one of his quotes, man, I'm going to read it real quick too, because I like it, man. So Goat Locker Racing was born from a desire to continue to serve our nation's warriors and first responders. And then Pat, my friend of mine, he says, I'm honored and humbled each day to be a part of this organization and see the impact that we have on one veteran, one warrior. And then he's got his little hashtag, one laugh at a time. So, I mean, it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. That probably is a hobby of his that he turned into.
Oh, yeah, dude, definitely.
Functional, right? Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a major step in the right direction for combating this soldier suicide epidemic, man. You know, you see so much about it, and it's like you said, keeping those demons at bay. You got to stay busy, you got to stay active, stay engaged, find your people, and find what makes you slow things down in your head and quiet the demons.
That's it, bro. But all right, man. Well, I think that's enough for today, and we'll see you guys all next time. Aloha, Eddie, and Koastline Kevin are out. That's thank you.
Right?
Yeah, you did. It's mahalo, but that's just thank you, right? So mahalo for tuning in, right? But aloha is hello, it's goodbye, it's I love you. Aloha is a lot for everything. So I'm gonna say aloha, brother. Rock on. Yeah, I mean, you do live right next door to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's it, bro. Bro, you stupid.